Shinichi Okuyama, Yoshiko Takeshima, Haruko Muraoka, Kenshita Chiki, Taro Matsui, Shigenori Tsurodome, Hazel Ito, Muneo Torimaru, James Kasabuchi, Shizuko Yanagihara, Yoshiko Sueyoshi, Setsugo Taniguchi, Benso Tsuji, Zenbei Iwashita, Mine Takeshita, Terry T. Doi, Frank Tachiki, Mike Hagio, Chio Yamagata, George Yukio Kodama, Kazumi Sugioka, Isao Imazumi, Magoichi Hamano, Kuzo Sugiyama, Rohei Tsujimura, Hajime Kyotoku, Buheji Tanaka, Iwaguma Tsuneyoshi, Ume Inoue, Shizuyo Izumo, Shinzemon Fujii, George Kazuma, Saburo Oyama, Yoshiko Hasayama, Mansaku Shinohara, Hiromi Moribe, Yoichiro Torio, Yukichi Okuma, Yoshitaro Matsumoto, Masaichi Kuroda, Shizuko Kasabuchi, Seihachi Tsurodome, Saburo Sugiyama, Toyosaburo Yanagihara. Again, you're invited to come up and make an offering of incense for your departed friend or loved one who has died in the month of April, whether I had read their name or not.
Thank you, Smitty Sensei. We'll now have Juseige. Please chant in your loud voice. It can be found on page 35. Juseige.
Gagoncho segan ishimu jodo shigan fumanzok sefujo shogak gao muryoko fui dai seshu Fusai shobingu sehujo shogak gashi jobundo myosho chojipo kukyo mishomon sehujo shogak Ryokujin shonen jo eshu bongyo shigumu jodo isho teninshi jinriki endaiko husho musaido Shoujo san kumyo kosai shuyakunan kaihichi egen meshi konmo an heisoku sho akudo tsudaten zen shumon Koso jo manzok iyoro jipo nichigan shujuki tenko onpugen ishukai hozo kose kudoku ho Jo dai shuchu seppo shishiku kuyo isai bud gusoku shutoku hon gan e shinjoman toku isangai o Nyobuten mugechi Tsudaten mi fu sho, gangaku erik, toshi sai shoson, shiganya koka, gaisen okando, koku shotenin, touchin myoke. Namandabu, 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 ganishiku doku, byodo sei sai, dohoden bodai shin ojo an rako. Gasho namanda 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 namanda.
We'll have the reading of our pledge, which can be found on the insert in your service book. And I read kind of slowly, so if you can bear with me, and if we could stay all together, I think it sounds really nice. So our pledge, please rise, sorry. So nice and slow, listening to each word as we read. Our pledge. Breaking out of my shell, I will share a warm smile and speak gentle words, just like the kind Buddha. Not becoming lost in my greed, anger, and ignorance, I shall think and act with an open mind, just like the calm and peaceful Buddha. Not putting myself first, I will share in the joy and sadness of others, just like the compassionate Buddha. Realizing the gift of life I have received, I shall strive to live each day to its fullest, like the Buddha who tirelessly works to liberate all. Kansho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namandabs. Namandabs. You may be seated. We'll have our Dharma message by Smitty Sensei.
Please join me in Gassho with palms together. Think good thoughts, speak kind words, do good deeds, and walk the right path. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda, 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 Namanda. Well, good morning, everybody. All right, where's my Dharma School students? You're hiding today. Okay. Have any of you been watching the basketball games of March Madness the last couple of weeks? You've been interested in that? Yeah? Well, the women's championship game is this afternoon with, anybody know? UConn playing South Carolina. Yep. So the men's championship game, which surprised me, is tomorrow evening, and the Florida Gators are taking on, not Duke, Houston. Not that it matters much to me since all my brackets are busted, but moving on from the madness, have you watched any baseball games lately? Yeah, well, the Padres started the season out red hot with 7 straight wins. That's a record for the team. And then they dropped the last 2 games to the Cubs. But hopefully they'll be able to win today's matchup. And if I'm not watching sports, I often enjoy watching programs like The Americas or Planet Earth or various shows on Animal Planet. And this past week, Jackie and I watched an episode of The Americas where there was one young bear cub too little to be out exploring on his own. He climbed out of the bear's tree home while Mama Bear was out getting food for the cubs. And the problem was that the tree was in a swamp, and the little bear cub fell into the water where alligators and other predators were lurking. So not only were there dangers in the water, but the water itself was dangerous to the little bear cub, since cubs can only swim for a few minutes before they get tired out. And the gator could swiftly swim up to the cub and easily chomp it to bits before the baby bear could get himself out of the water. I was rooting for the little bear cub, and fortunately the alligator didn't get to him before Mama Bear came back and rescued the little guy. Phew. We also saw the frozen desert of the Tibetan Plateau on planet Earth Asia, where a lone wolf was hunting a Tibetan antelope. And although the antelope was faster, running up to 50 miles an hour, can you imagine being that fast? Any of you run that fast? You can. Oh. Well, the wolf, even though he couldn't run quite as fast, he had more endurance and can run his prey into exhaustion. I guess he's more of a marathoner than a sprinter. So in another episode, we watched as hundreds of Moorish idolfish, really beautifully colored tropical fish, left the safety of their coral reef, and they swam in a huge school out to open water where they would pair up and give birth to little Moorish idolfish. But once outside of that protective reef, the sharks chased the fish and attacked. And by the time the sharks were done snatching and eating the fish, only a handful of Moorish idols remained in the school, and the sharks left with a full belly. There are many examples of this in nature. Leopard seals hunt and eat penguins. Orcas chase and consume seals. Bengal tigers stalk, kill, and devour antelope and deer. Our cat Shadow likes to stalk and pounce on me. I don't think she can eat me, but she's practicing. Well, when we watch our favorite sports teams play, we think of them as the good guys and their opponents as the bad guys. Are the Padres good and the Dodgers evil? Are the University of Houston Cougars bad because they beat my pick to win the men's tournament, the Duke Blue Devils? Does that mean Devils are good as long as they're blue? When we watch animals and nature programs, we often think of the small, cute, furry, or vulnerable animals as the good guys and their large, strong, and snarling predators as the bad guys. But how are we determining good guys from bad guys? Are bear cubs, Moorish idolfish, penguins, and deer good, while alligators, sharks, orcas, and tigers evil? Each team wants to win a game. whether we're cheering for them or not. Each animal has a right to live, hunt, and eat, even if their prey is fluffier or cuter. How can we judge good or evil in these situations? When we look at what's happening, it isn't easy for us ordinary people to judge whether one team or an animal is good or another team or an animal is bad. How about ourselves? Am I good or evil? Do you see yourself as a good or a bad person? I think we're often a mix of both. Sometimes I do good things and sometimes I do bad things. Sometimes I help or protect others, and sometimes I only help myself. Sometimes I say nice things and sometimes I say hurtful or mean words. We usually don't judge ourselves, but we often have a tendency to judge those around us, thinking that person is good or that person is bad. But I wonder if we can really know the true right and wrong. As I mentioned the little bear cub who wandered off, the mama bear had left their tree home to hunt for fish to feed the little cubs. Does killing fish make her bad or evil? Or is she good because she was feeding her cubs, keeping them nourished and alive? There's no clear right or wrong here. And Shinran Shonen often used the term evil person or evil being to describe self-centered individuals who make judgments as if they know everything. He used the term to describe those who are quick to call out and criticize others, sort of unconsciously making themselves seem to be good while actually ignoring their own shortcomings. So this evil person in Shinran's writings is in many ways just an ordinary being, one who's not yet enlightened. This means an ordinary person who at times gives in to anger or greed and is therefore unable to truly determine good from bad. Shinran was trying to point out that if we only think of ourselves as good, we can become arrogant and forget to really take a look at who we are and how we really behave. So there's an old Cherokee story about two wolves. Maybe you've heard it before, but it's usually told something like this. A young boy came to his grandfather, a Cherokee Indian chief, for advice, and the youngster was filled with anger at another boy who had done him an injustice. And the old grandfather said to his grandson, "Let me tell you a story. I, too, at times felt a great hate for those who have taken so much with no sorrow for what they do. But hate wears you down, and hate does not hurt your enemy. Hate is like taking a poison and wishing your enemy would die. I have struggled with these feelings myself many times." "A fight is going on inside me," he told the young boy. "A fight between two wolves. The dark wolf is evil. He's anger, envy, sorrow, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity, hate, resentment, inferiority, lies, false pride, superiority, and ignorance." He continued that the light wolf is good. He's joy, peace, love, hope, serenity, humility, kindness, benevolence, empathy, generosity, truth, compassion, and trust. The light wolf is good and does no harm. He lives in harmony with all around him and doesn't take offense when no offense was intended. He will only fight when it's right to do so and in the right way. But the dark wolf is full of anger. The littlest thing will set him into a fit of temper. He fights everyone all the time for no reason. He can't think because his anger and hate are so great. It's helpless anger because his anger will change nothing. Sometimes it's hard to live with these two wolves inside of me because both of the wolves try to dominate my spirit. The same fight is going on inside you, grandson, and inside every other person on the face of this earth. Then the grandson ponders the story for a moment and he asks, "Grandfather, which wolf will win?" And the old Cherokee smiled and simply said, "The one you feed." So it can be hard to determine good from bad. But as in the story about the two wolves inside us, we should recognize that we're capable of anger, envy, greed, arrogance, selfishness, hate, resentment, lies, and ignorance. We shouldn't ignore the fact, but rather we should try to nurture our sense of joy, peace, love, hope, serenity, humility, kindness, benevolence, empathy, generosity, truth, and compassion. Compassion. So please join me again in Gassho. Think good thoughts, speak kind words, do good deeds, and walk the right path. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda, Namanda, Namanda.
Thank you, Smitty Sensei. I do see myself in your Dharma message, so thank you for that. Awakening for me. Please rise for a special place, page 100. Thank you. You may be seated. So that song makes me think about what is my special place. So I hope all of you have one too, a special place. So we'll have announcements next. So if you have a activity or something that you're selling or activity, please come up for announcements.
Morning, everyone. Next week, Sunday, as most of you know, next week is going to be our Hanamashiri service, celebrating the birth of the Buddha. As a result of that, too, we are going to be decorating the Hanamido that's going to be eventually right here in the middle of our Hondo. Next week, we're going to be decorating that next week, Saturday. You guys are all welcome to help us decorate the Hanamido, especially the Dharma School students, as we get to put together the flower home for the Buddha. So that will take place next week, Saturday at 1 p.m. Okay? And then the Dharma School, we are accepting both monetary and floral donations as we get to that point on Saturday. And then we'll be decorating the Hanamido downstairs in the dining room. Thank you.
Hello, this is a reminder that our San Diego Junior YBL is selling Junior YBL Southern District Obon t-shirts. Sales continue until April 26th, and t-shirts will be available at the end of May. We have sizes small through extra, extra large, and they're $20. If you're interested, please see a junior. We will have these sheets right here that ask for your contact information, size, etc. And yeah, it'll be good. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone. Just wanted to remind you of a couple of activities for Dharma School. So on May 17th from 1 to 3 o'clock p.m., we will be volunteering at Feeding San Diego. I sent out an email to families. If other people in the Sangha would like to attend, you are welcome as well. We also have our annual camping trip coming up on Memorial Day weekend, May 23rd through 26th. And all families are invited to attend. We'll be going to Mount Laguna, Burnt Rancheria Campground. So hopefully we have families sign up. Thanks.
This is to let everybody know that this month the pre-K through second grade class is having our annual Little Kids Can Do Big Things campaign for the Ronald McDonald House. We are collecting brand new board games, coloring books, and word search puzzle books. We are collecting in a box downstairs by the office through the month of April. Thank you.
Making an announcement that the Spring Asian Film Festival will be coming up, and it's going to be April 25th through May 1st, and I'm going to put some brochures in the office. Also, the opening film is called Out of Plain Sight, and that's an environmental movie. And then if you're interested in Japanese films, there's one called Baby Assassins. I didn't make up the titles. Thank you.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm here to announce that the BWA will be having an afternoon tea, and that's going to be on May 3rd, 2025, and it's benefiting the Buddhist Temple of San Diego 100th anniversary. So it's going to be from 2 to 5 p.m. We have a lot of wonderful raffle prizes from various businesses across San Diego, like Trader Joe's and DZ Aiken's, George's at the Cove, Asa Bakery, and many others. So it'll be a lot of fun, and the menu is going to be delicious with an array of foods, savory, sweet, with a variety of different teas. We are planning a hat or fascinator contest, so you can be really creative. And the Dharma School kids are now practicing some wonderful colonial dances that they will be performing. So we hope all of you will be able to come and join us that day, May 3, Saturday. And we're asking $40 donation per person. So hope to see you then. Thank you. Oh, excuse me. One other thing I forgot. The sushi workshop has been canceled. That was originally scheduled May 17th. And also the BWA is selling panko to help with the Federation BWA conference, which will be next year. Okay, thank you.
Hi, I'm Lorene Ota. I'm piggybacking off of the afternoon tea thing. Number one, we'd like to have about 4 or 5 teen helpers. And thank you, Annika and Sage. They've offered to help. I'd like to get a couple of boys, too. So if anybody can help, come see me. Let's see. And then the second thing is, I'm going to be the washerwoman. About 2 weeks or 1 week before the tea, which is May 3rd, I'll be cleaning and sanitizing the refrigerators, which is going to hold the really yummy food. And then by the week before, I'm going to be removing things. So please take things that you want to keep. And then if it's not, doesn't need refrigeration, we'll put it on the side. So just remember that. We'll be making space for our yummy food. The third thing is, I don't know if you know, but I used to take shamisen lessons. And my sensei is Yoshiko Monji, a member of this temple. She's very esteemed. She's received awards for her cultural achievements. And she's a vice president of the Japanese Coordinating Council. So this is in regards to the Kate Hōkai, the seniors' lunch on April 27th at Sunday. She called me and asked me if we could, if I could come and help. So if there's anybody willing to help serve tea or hand out lunches, we could use help. You can come see me or leave your name at the office. Last time, the tea sensei, the Ura Senki, she made the tea, and oh my God, it tasted so good. So you can watch her make the tea. And the other thing is, she asked, oh, can people come who can dance? They're going to do tanko bushi, and there's another folk dance. So if you would like to come, I think lunch is $25, and they got it from a really delicious Japanese restaurant, different than where we usually do the things. So thank you very much.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Nice to see so many of you here today. I have several announcements, but the first announcement I like to make is, last Sunday we observed Scout Sunday, and all the scouts did a wonderful job with that. And this morning we learned that one of our Dharma School students has been recognized for earning the rank of Eagle. And so, Cassidy Mudoka, can you please stand? She earned her award on Thursday. So, congratulations. That's quite an accomplishment. Okay, other announcements that I have is, of course, next Sunday is our Hanamatsuri. Dharma School students, do you know what Hanamatsuri is? Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's, it's your sister's birthday. Okay, yeah. Yeah, well, that's right. Your sister's birthday and the birth of Shakyamuni Buddha, or the historical Buddha. So next Sunday, April 8th is the day that we normally observe Hanamatsuri. But next Sunday, the 13th, will be our Hanamatsuri service starting at 10 o'clock. And our guest minister that day will be Reverend Michael Endo. He is from the Buddhist Church of Oakland. He'll be giving the Dharma message to both Dharma School students and to the rest of the Sangha. So hope all of you are able to attend the Hanamatsuri service next Sunday, and the Hanamido, the Hondo will be open from 9 o'clock that morning. So, you're welcome to come in to do your sweet tea offering starting at 9. And then later that day, we'll be having our 3rd annual Tostada Bingo fundraiser in the annex. Last couple years, it's been a great hit, so we thought we'd do it again this year. And so if you're interested, if you haven't signed up yet, please sign up today, because we'll need to figure out the foods that need to be purchased and prepared. And so please sign up. There's a sign-up sheet downstairs in the office. And the cost is $13 for adults and $6 for children 12 and under. And then included in that will be 6 games of bingo. And there'll be a lot of prizes. We're not giving away cash for bingo because the bingo includes the children, so there'll be a lot of prizes that'll be given away for bingo. And thank you to those people who have been donating prizes, and we're still accepting donations for prizes. If you'd like to make a donation today, you're welcome to do so. And then, let's see, and then the proceeds from the event will go toward the BCA's Southern California Wildlife Relief Fund. And so it'll be going to a good cause for that. And then thank you to the volunteers who've been asked to help for next weekend. So thank you very much for that. And you know, I think the bingo will be a price of admission because our bingo caller will be Smitty Sensei. So please join us next Sunday for that. And then my last announcement is that Laureen had mentioned about the JCC Hōkai. That's going to be on the 27th of April, starting at noon. I think many of you 80 years and over have received either a letter or an email from the temple about that. So if you would like to attend, please sign up for it. You can contact the temple, and the deadline for that is April 15th. JCC has a nice program to share with that group, and also have a nice bento lunch. And thank you. You know, people have been signing up for the event, so if you plan to attend, please sign up by the 15th. Okay, thank you.
I would just like to add that we still need 2 more volunteers for Sunday. Are we good? Oh, never mind. Thank you.
So I was going to ask Ralph, in the past, I've always thought that the Hōkai was only for those that are 80 and above and their families, but it's open to everybody. Is that right? The Hōkai luncheon is open to everybody?
It's open to everybody.
Okay.
Seniors 80 and over are the invited guests.
Okay.
And then it's $25 short.
Okay. Thank you. I always misunderstood that. So it's open to everyone, $25 for the bento. If you're 80 and over, then you are complimentary. Yes. So please make sure that you let the office know that. Okay, I've got one more thing, sorry. The BWA is also selling these Montoshiki shows, which I have on. It's only $20. It's greatly reduced price, and it's a great deal. It has the California poppies on it, so it's really appropriate for us here in California. And if you would like one, then please see a BWA member or someone in the office. We can get it for you. Okay? Thank you. All right. So many announcements, but very important. Let's see. We're going to have Dharma School to be excused now. So the Dharma School students, please walk up and do Oshoko, and you are excused to your classes.
Next is, okay. Oh, now that the Dharma School students are going through the classes, and Junko Kajita is one of the teachers there, so that's why I'm taking over for her right now. We will now have Vandana and Tisarana on page 96 for everyone to recite.
You know, the Vandana and Tisarana is a chant that actually connects us to Buddhists of all schools everywhere in the world. So this is sort of interdependence through our voices. And please chant all parts with me, both those that say leader and Sangha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Homage to him, the exalted one, the enlightened one, the supremely awakened one. Buddham saranam gacchami, Dhammam saranam gacchami, Sangham saranam gacchami. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. Namo Kie Butsu. Namo Kie Ho. Namo Kie So. Gassho Namandab, 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 Namandab.
Okay. Thank you. And right now, Reverend Smitty will give her Dharma message.
Please join me in Gassho. Namandab, 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 Namandab. Sort of cut out the Gosandai to shorten what is a somewhat long talk. Well, good morning again, or at least I hope it's a good morning for most of us. Some of us have been a bit dazed and disoriented lately. We're experiencing some challenging times, and life right now can feel like an uphill battle. Some of us are like Don Quixote tilting at windmills. That is, we're faced by unexpected issues, problems, and threats, some of which are real and some which may be imagined or exaggerated, but that leaves us fighting against some things that aren't real threats, and at other times pursuing goals that may be unrealistic or even near impossible. So I've heard more than one person say recently that they'd like to become a monk and live in a mountain monastery for a while. And I suppose that means they want to get away from the secular world and pursue a spiritual path instead. And for most of us, that's kind of an unrealistic path. In fact, we're here as Shin Buddhists because we can't just give up our families, friends, and possessions and hide in a monastery chanting the sutras or meditating all of the time. But when we find ourselves struggling in life, we shouldn't set aside our spiritual selves to focus solely on secular issues. This is the time that we should be turning to the teachings and the Dharma to help make sense of this Saha world of illusion and delusion. And to think about how we can use our spiritual side to give meaning to our secular lives, I'd like to share some thoughts from Ora Glazer, who's an author, entrepreneur, Dharma teacher, and psychologist. Mostly Tibetan Buddhism is what she practices. And you know, the Dharma school students aren't the only ones trying to discover their own paths this year. We're all on a spiritual journey throughout our lives, and on the Shin Buddhist path, we sometimes find ourselves kind of stepping into unknown territory with a desire to know what's truly real. Ora Sensei tells us that one of the essential elements of such a life is the understanding that everything we encounter, fear, resentment, jealousy, embarrassment, is actually an invitation to clearly see just what we're shutting down and holding back. And at some point we realize we can't manipulate life to give us just what we want, because the rug gets pulled out from beneath us regularly. So what do? Although our deep-seated tendency is to reject the unwanted or undesirable in an effort to prevent suffering, it turns out that all the ways that we resist this actually, limits our lives, bringing us more pain. And yet, how do we find courage to open to and accept all that we are and all of what's arising in our bodies and minds? How do we tap the confidence to live with that kind of openness and receive what's arising in the moment, just as it is, with a clarity and kindness? How do we let life, with all of its perhaps disappointments and sorrows, actually soften our heart instead of hardening it? So in the Tibetan tradition, there's a story about a great cave-dwelling yogi, Milarepa, that illuminates this often bumpy road that we travel and the process of releasing this resistance and making peace with ourselves when we encounter things. So one day Milarepa left his cave to gather firewood, and when he returned, he found that his cave had been taken over by demons, and there were demons everywhere. His first thought upon seeing them was, I have to get rid of them. And he lunges toward them, chasing after them, trying forcefully to get them out of his cave. But the demons are completely unfazed. In fact, the more he chases them, the more comfortable and settled in they seem to be. Realizing that his efforts to run them out have failed miserably, Milarepa opts for a new approach, and he decides to teach them the Dharma. If chasing them out won't work, then maybe hearing the teachings will change their minds and get them to go. So he takes his seat and begins teaching all about existence and non-existence, compassion and kindness, as well as interdependence and impermanence. And after a while, he looks around and realizes all the demons are still there. They simply stare at him with their huge bulging eyes, and not a single one is leaving. And at this point, Milarepa lets out a deep breath of surrender, knowing now that these demons will not be manipulated into leaving, and that maybe he has something to learn from them. So he looks deeply into the eyes of each demon and bows, saying, "It looks like we're going to be here together. I open myself to whatever you have to teach me." And in that moment, all the demons but one disappear. One huge and especially fierce demon with flaring nostrils and dripping fangs is still there. So Milarepa lets go even further. Stepping over to the largest demon, he offers himself completely, holding back nothing. "Eat me if you wish." He places his head in the demon's mouth, and at that moment, the largest demon bows low and dissolves into space. Ara Sensei points out that we sometimes imagine that if we just lead our spiritual life the right way, we won't encounter life's sharp edges, life's difficulties. We'll be on a direct path to ever-increasing tranquility and joy. We're not prepared for all of our unfinished business being exposed, all of our unresolved trauma pushing up from the depths like a geyser of black mud. And the story of Milarepa feels much closer to the truth. Working with all that has been pushed down is a central part of our spiritual journey. And when those demons appear, it's not so easy to just relax and let go. We usually try a number of different approaches to get these uninvited guests to go back to the dungeon. This story takes us on a journey that includes the well-worn strategies and habitual maneuvers that we attempt and ultimately abandon in the process of genuinely opening to our true selves and our real lives. And the first stage of this journey is awareness. We begin to see what's actually happening. Milarepa comes back to his cave and he finds that it's full of demons. You know, maybe they've been there all along, but now he clearly sees them. We experience this dawning and recognition as we begin to see things we've been running from or hiding from or trying to push away in our lives. Our pattern of avoidance and denial can take so many different guises that often we don't even really see them until our awareness begins to happen and deepen. It may be 20 years before we realize, oh, I became a doctor, lawyer, engineer because I wanted my parents' approval. Or I'm always taking care of people because I want others to need me. Or I was the life of the party because I felt empty inside. And a lot of times we look at the things that we do without recognizing what's really driving us is a need for approval, a need to be needed, or a need to just fit in. And sometimes our most obvious destructive behaviors conceal something else that's even more difficult for us to acknowledge. We may, for example, be willing to acknowledge our anger, but unwilling to look at the fear and vulnerability beneath it. So we work on our anger without touching the raw place that's underneath that anger. When we don't acknowledge all of who we are, these unacknowledged parts will land in what Jung called the shadow that we then project onto others. If you remember, Kenji Sensei used to often talk about that shadow that we all have. And this is one way of seeing Milarepa's encounter with the demons. He was encountering his shadow and all that he had suppressed and rejected within himself in the demons. And often when a painful feeling arises, we short-circuit that experience. We just don't want to listen to it. We don't want to feel it. We're afraid to touch it. We do things like turning on the television, spending hours on the computer. We eat bags of chips. We go to see a movie maybe, or we shop, or we drink too much, and we find some way to keep ourselves sort of busy or numb from what's happening or what we perceive to be happening. And we have many ways of distracting ourselves so that we don't feel the full impact of the pain of what we think we're going through. So this is where awareness comes in. With awareness, even if we shut down, we can see ourselves shutting down. That in itself begins to illuminate the territory. We may not be able to stop ourselves from doing the habitual thing, but we're watching ourselves do it. Most of us, when we do become aware of something unwanted in ourselves, we have this knee-jerk reaction to it and do just what Milarepa first did with those demons. We ask, how can I get rid of this thing? And the second stage on our journey is one of habitual maneuvers. We see something, and if we don't like what we see, we want to expel it. We recoil, we judge, and we attack. And we come upon our greediness, jealousy, or impatience, and the next impulse is to sort of go to war with it. We don't realize that all the while we're strengthening the thing that we're fighting against. Ora Sensei likens this to trying to push a beach ball down into the water. You can hold it down, but that requires a huge amount of energy and effort, and it inevitably pops back up with an equal force and takes an unpredicted direction. But if you give the beach ball space and let it be, it will float effortlessly along the surface. As Milarepa's story unfolds, we find that there is a discovery process here. When the direct attack fails, as it usually does, he tries another approach, indirect manipulation. He begins this third stage when he decides, I'm going to teach these demons the Dharma. There's this kind of I've got to fix it energy at work here. The indirect manipulation looks like a greater acceptance and accommodation, but it's still kind of rooted in that rejection of experience. We're still bent on avoiding and getting rid of what we don't like. We still don't want to face our most undesirable parts, and we're secretly hoping that maybe we can pass directly into freedom and liberation without doing that. And finally, Milarepa relinquishes his solutions and strategies and surrenders to the presence of the demons and to whatever they may have to teach him. At this point, we begin to see everything that arises as an opportunity to deepen our understanding and to soften our heart. You know, that's something our Gomonchu says, that things should be softening our heart. We shouldn't be hardening our heart. And we view our life situation as inherently workable. We're willing to be with our experience, whatever it is, without judgment and without trying to fix it or get rid of it. And somehow this willingness, this gentle allowing, starts to calm things and calm ourselves down. And transitioning to this fourth stage requires a very deep commitment to honesty with ourselves. We really have to be willing to look at ourselves, and you know, that's not for those who are afraid of doing this. You have to be somewhat fearless to really look at yourself and see who you really are. We aren't going to run away even if we see a demon staring back at us in the mirror. We're going to stick with ourselves no matter what, because we're more interested in what's true than what's comfortable. And as we begin to really look into our lives, we ask and want to know, what is this uneasiness I don't want to touch? What is this unhappiness that is always there despite everything I do? What is this anxiety that has been humming beneath the surface of my life? When we have the courage and strength to move toward that which we may have spent a lifetime hiding from, we then start to open up. And this ultimately brings us to the fifth and final stage of complete letting go, where all resistance is gone. We no longer demand that life be on our terms. Instead, we begin living with and understanding the source of wisdom is whatever is in front of us, in whatever is arising at this moment. Wisdom isn't somewhere else. It's right here within our authentic selves. So Milarepa lets go of that last shred of holding back and places himself in the largest demon's mouth, and that demon dissolves into space. So neither Ora Sensei nor I are saying that every difficulty, every encounter with a demon in our lives can be magically dissolved away. But through awareness of what's really going on and a willingness to see the truth in our authentic selves, and an understanding that we can't control the universe, not even our own little slice of it, perhaps we can start battling with the windmills, let go of that anger and angst, and keep ourselves rooted in what's truly important and meaningful in our lives. Please join me again in Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda, 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 Namanda.
Thank you, Reverend Smitty. Now we are, we will sing the Gatha Ondoku-san 2 on page 128. Please stand. Thank you. You may be seated. For closing remarks, I want to thank all of you for coming today. I'd like to thank all of the people at Temple who made this service happening. I don't know the individual names, so excuse me, but thank you all for helping and supporting our temple so that we can have these weekly services. And now we'll have incense offering, and after that we will have a Japanese Dharma message given by Yukari Williams. So right now we will have incense offering.
I gotta make sure that it's over.
Thank you.日本語法は始めますので、モニターの見えるところまでおいでください。 それでは合唱をお願いいたします。南天竺にびくあらん、龍獣菩薩と名付くべし、海の邪見を発すべしと、世尊はかねて時たまう。南無阿弥陀仏、南無阿弥陀仏、南無阿弥陀仏、南無阿弥陀仏。皆さんおはようございます。お久しぶりです。やっぱ少し緊張しますね。今日お話しするのは、龍獣菩薩とその教えについてお話ししたいと思います。龍獣菩薩は、たくさんの教えを書かれましたけれども、今日は有無の邪見、この御三大にあります有無の邪見についてお話ししたいと思います。この龍獣菩薩は、親鸞上人が選ばれた七高僧の中の一番最初のお坊様でございます。始める前にまず、七高僧の説明を簡単にいたします。浄土真宗の七高僧とは、これは私が書いた説明なんですけど、親鸞上人が、尊敬された、7人のお坊様方で、この方たちが阿弥陀如来の教えを次々と受け継かれ、日本へ浄土教を伝えられました。この、7人のお坊様っていうのはインドからお二人、中国から3人、そして日本から2人です。それでこの龍獣菩薩は第1番目の七高僧のお坊様です。そしてこの七高僧のお坊様は2番目の方が1番目の教えを継いで、3番目の方が2番目の教えを継いでっていうふうにリレーみたいに浄土教の教えをずっと日本に、そういう形で浄土教の教えが日本に伝わりました。それでは龍獣菩薩、どんな方だったか簡単に説明いたします。龍獣菩薩って誰ですか？今言いましたように、第1番目の浄土真宗の七高僧のお坊様です。で、お生まれになったのが大体西暦の150年から250年、100年間生きられたわけではなくて、この間に、活躍された方です。南インドご出身です。そしてバラモンの出身の方であります。で、バラモンっていうのは、これはインドのヒンドゥー教のカーストの一番上に属するグループですね。このここの一番上がバラモンになっています。で、ちなみにお釈迦様ですね。お釈迦様はクシャトリア、この次のこの位 のカーストのご出身でした。でバラモンはなんだっけ、聖職の方のグループ、そしてその1個下のクシャトリアはワリアのカーストになっています。なのでこの龍樹菩薩は、とても恵まれたところに生まれてきた方です。それで学問、いろんな学問を学ぶことができて、とても教養があった方。それでなんか話によるとハンサムな方だったって聞いています。本当かどうかわかんないんですけどね。随分昔の方なので。そして大事なことは、この龍樹菩薩は、大乗仏教の基礎を確立されました。浄土真宗以外に日本には7つ有名ないろんな宗があるんですけれども、そちらでもこの龍樹菩薩様をとても尊敬されていらっしゃいます。曹洞宗のお坊様とお話しする機会があったんですけれども、その方も龍樹菩薩のことはご存知でいらっしゃいまして、曹洞宗の方でもとても尊敬していらっしゃるお坊様ということでした。それではですね、今日ご紹介するのはその龍樹菩薩の中の龍樹菩薩の教え、たくさんある教えの中で有無の邪見っていうのをお話しします。有無の邪見って有無の見と無の見というのがありまして、龍樹菩薩はこれらを間違った見方としました。龍樹菩薩はこれらの見方を持っていると苦しみを生んでしまうので、こういう見方をやめましょうと私たちに教えてくださいました。そして有無の見というのは、この考え方は魂が存在して生まれ変わるという考えです。私たちの命が終わった後、私たちの命が終わった後、死んでしまった後も、魂が存在し続けて、それが別のところに生まれ変わってしまう。もしかしたら、地獄に生まれるかもしれないというちょっと怖い、なんか先が見えない不安になってしまう考え方です。そしてこの無の見っていうのは、私たちの命が終わってもう肉体がなくなってしまったらもうそれで終わり、もう何にもなくなってしまうという考えでございます。私も時々こういう考えを持ってしまうことがあります。有の見、有の見、そうだな、私は死んだらどこに行くんだろうとか思ってしまいます。私が、死んでしまって今まで自分がやってきたことはそんなに いいことばっかりやってきてないので、もし私が死んでしまったらもしかしたら地獄に落ちてしまうんじゃないかなんて心配してしまう。こういう考え方時々思ってしまいます。そしてこの無の見の方なんですけれども、死んだら終わり、これはなんか日本でよくこういう考え方をする人がよくいます。なんか若い人によくいるみたいで、もう死んだら終わり、なんか死んだら終わりなんだからっていう、私にとってはこの死んでしまったらもう終わりっていうのはなんかとっても虚しくて寂しいような考え方だな、これも結構つらい考え方だなと思います。皆様はどうお考えでしょうか。それでは何が正しい考え方なのって思いますよね。じゃあどういうふうに考えたらいいの？私たちの命がなくなった後はどうなっちゃうのって思いますよね。そこで阿弥陀様のお話をします。その答えは阿弥陀如来です。龍樹菩薩は生きることも死ぬこともすべて阿弥陀如来にお任せしましょう。なぜなら無の見も無の見もそういう考え方になってしまうのは、私たちは真実のものの見方ができないから。だから阿弥陀様にお任せしましょうって龍樹菩薩は言っています。生きることも死ぬことも阿弥陀如来にお任せする。そうすれば心静かに穏やかに生きていくことができます。そして私たちの命が終わってもうこの地球上に生きていられなくなったら、そしたら私たちはお浄土に、もう今ここに地球ですけど地球上なんですけれども、亡くなった後は私たちの周りはお浄土です。だから、死ぬことも全く心配しなくてよくなります。だから龍樹菩薩がおっしゃっているように、阿弥陀様にすべてをお任せしましょう。はい、ここにあります。それでは皆さん、サービスブックちょっと広げていただけますか。そこの23ページに12来ありますよね。皆さんはもう12来ご存知ですよね。12来はこの龍樹菩薩が書かれました。そして23ページにこの龍樹菩薩の説明が載っているので、もしよかったら後で読んでみてください。それから64ページ、昇進念仏下の64ページの下の方のイングリッシュトランスレーションありますよね。そこに有無の見の訳が出ています。だから今度昇進下をお唱えするとき、ここに龍樹菩薩の有の見と無の見が出ているななんて思い出していただいたらとっても嬉しいです。 それでは聞いてくださって、今日は本当に聞いてくださってどうもありがとうございました。それではもう一度、合唱と礼拝をお願いいたします。ナモアミダ仏、ナモアミダ仏、ナマンダ仏、ナマンダ。ありがとうございました。Thank you for coming, everyone.